we are giving women the tools and the resources and the permission to start taking care of themselves. Because if we don't start taking care of ourselves, we are not going to be there to take care of our family.
Welcome to Zestful Aging, where I talk with fascinating, talented, and inspiring guests who reflect on the adventures and challenges of aging and who are living their lives with vibrance and purpose. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, psychotherapist, writer, and fellow Zestful Ager. I want to invite you to my brand new free webinar, Zestful Aging. Here's how you do it. Many of my clients tell me that they're stretched too thin with too many demands upon them. They are just worn out. In my brand new webinar, I teach simple and sensible habits that will significantly improve your life now and help you age with vibrance and resilience. But it's important to start now. Don't wait until your body's distress signals go from a whisper to a scream. If you've followed me at all, you know I'm not about restrictive diets or boot camps. I believe life can be challenging enough. Let's appreciate our bodies and minds for the miraculous systems they are and take the time to take care of ourselves. Self-care pays big dividends now and in the future. And being well ourselves is the only way we can help those we love. And if you sign up now, I will send you my super Zestful Aging checklist, which I designed so you have clear guidelines right at your fingertips. The webinar is free. You can sign up at NicoleChristina.com. And as always, I appreciate your feedback. Well, I have my Jack Russell Terrier Sparky right beside me and my coffee in my hand. So let's begin. Today, we'll be speaking with Beth Battaglino, RN, who's the CEO of the HealthyWomen website, which was recognized as one of the top 100 women's health websites by Forbes for 3 consecutive years, and was recognized by Oprah magazine as one of the top women's health websites. She's also a practicing nurse in maternal child health in Red Bank, New Jersey, and we're going to be talking to Beth about menopause and sexuality today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
These are really big topics, but first I just wanted to compliment you on the website. It has this wonderful combination of being super comprehensive and also really accessible and friendly. I just wanted to give you that feedback.
Well, thank you so much. And that's really great feedback for us to have, because that's our whole goal. It's our mission. Ever since we were incepted in 1988, the mission of HealthyWomen was to provide medically vetted information, but in a consumer voice, so that she had the access and the information on important healthcare topics. And in the 80s, it was really disease focused, so that she could have that conversation with her healthcare provider to understand what options are best suited for her. So hearing your compliments that it's consumer friendly, it's comprehensive, means that we're doing our job.
That's great. I mean, you have a long list of diseases and problematic situations that
Right.
people can just click on and learn more about. And it's short, it's concise, it's friendly, but you bring in research I was reading one about a dermatologist, endocrinologist. I mean, you bring in the experts. It's not just, it doesn't have a feeling of fluff.
It's certainly not fluff. We wanted to keep it, again, consumer friendly, but make sure that we pull in the leading experts that provide the background, the research, and then create an opportunity to say, here's what you need to know, and here's the top 3 to 5 questions that you need to ask while you have that time in front of your healthcare provider. So really giving her the tools and the resources to be better informed and to make the best possible decision for her treatment and or the treatment of someone she may be caring for.
Yeah, it's a wonderful resource. And the thing that I also noted was you do not shy away from topics.
We don't. But again, we make sure, we are, we're providing the facts, right? So we provide the facts, it's reviewed by our medical experts, and then we turn it out so that the consumer can understand it. And a big part of our audience is healthcare professionals that just don't have time to, read every journal that comes out. They can click onto Healthy Women, find what's trending in women's health, find great resources for themselves as well as their patients, and feel like they're updated. So it's just making sure that we keep our finger on the pulse on what's going on with research, information, technology that affects women's health and wellness.
And what we were going to talk about today, which is, I think, particularly relevant to my audience, our listeners today, is menopause. And I know you're a practicing healthcare provider. You're an expert in women's health and maternal child health. Can you talk about maybe what the most common problems you're hearing about women going through menopause, maybe starting menopause? What are the big themes here?
Well, what we found with our audience, it's all about aging well. And what they want is to understand what they need to do to take better care of themselves. We know in surveys, and we're all about market research, and we do about a survey per month that focuses on different aspects of women's health. One current survey that we did was in partnership with Red Book Magazine and GCI Health. And we found out that the majority of women that we surveyed between the ages 51 and 60 did not take time to focus on their own health needs. And I'm kind of smiling as I say that because that was no surprise to me.
I'm sure.
Was it a surprise to you?
No, of course not.
No. Because women in this age group put everything, I think women in general, put everyone else's needs in front of our own.
Yep.
So it's the children, the spouses, and at this juncture, it's, caring for aging relatives. Even the family pet goes before our healthcare needs. So this was an aha moment for us to say, we want to validate what we think we know, and we did. And now it's to start creating a campaign that speaks to the importance of taking care of yourself and putting yourself first. We have right now available to us under the Affordable Care Act 26 preventative healthcare screenings that are covered by insurance. There is no excuse not to take better care of yourself. So through this campaign called Healthy Her, we are giving women the tools and the resources and the permission to start taking care of themselves. Because if we don't start taking care of ourselves, we are not going to be there to take care of our family.
That is so true. It's so funny about the pet because I will say to my clients, this is the first goal, is to treat yourself at least as well as you treat the family pet.
Right.
And that really drives the point home.
It does. And I just think it is really important. And I think from looking at where Healthy Women started in the late 80s, and thinking about the timeline, I am very proud of all the work that's been done in women's health, in understanding family history, and the advancements that we've made in prevention, early detection, screenings, and all the education that we've done behind, from cardiovascular to breast cancer, even to mental health. And I'm not saying there's not room for improvement, but we've come a long way. But now we need to make sure that women are acting on the great information and research that we've done and start implementing it into her own healthcare plan, right? So we know mammograms save lives. So there's no excuse for you not to get a mammogram when it's covered under the Affordable Healthcare Plan.
I see.
Bone density screenings and understanding the importance of bone health, understanding that osteoporosis is a family. It's it runs in families, and asking the questions. And if you are flagged for a higher risk of getting osteoporosis, it's preventable. It's giving ourselves, and I hate to say this, but it's just permission to put ourselves first.
Yeah. I understand that. And it's getting, you hear it a lot. It's getting a little trite, but I think that culturally it's still a bit of an uphill battle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, one of the things that I saw on your site that I was not as familiar with, and maybe you can speak to, I think it might be really interesting to our listeners, is the connection between menopause and anxiety.
So that's a big piece. And it was through we did a survey with Women's Day. So we've done a lot of surveys with some really great people this past year in 2018. So Women's Day, what we found from some survey results is that anxiety tends to be one of the most important pull-throughs for women going through menopause. So that, late 40s to early 60s, one of the highest, one of the main points that we were able to tease out of the survey is that the high anxiety rate for these women in this age group. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't, again, when we thought about it, it didn't surprise us that much. And many of us could raise our hands and say, I'm feeling anxiety. So let's take a look at, kind of the demographics for this. So it's women in their late 40s, early 50s. Mm-hmm. Many of these women are at the top of their careers. They're not only managing, they're managing job, they're managing families, they're managing, their relationship, their spouse, their significant other. Mm-hmm. And they're managing aging relatives. And they're also going through some changes within their own body. So not sleeping. They are maybe gaining weight and looking at sexual health, which is a huge theme. It's a huge theme for healthy women. It's also a huge theme with a lot of new products that are focused on menopause and perimenopausal women. So you're going to see a lot more direct-to-consumer advertisement and information on sexual health and addressing sexual health.
Can you give me an example?
And financial. Financial concern is a big part of their anxiety, because at this time period in a woman's life, the 40s, 50s, and 60s, many women are also going through, many women are going through divorce. So it adds to the anxiety, the financial piece of it. So when we look at aging well and healthy aging, it's not just with health. It's with, that the common health items like cardiovascular, bone health, breast health, reproductive health, but also mental health and and part of that mental health and well-being is financial health. And sexual health too, because sexual health affects your overall health and wellness. So it was surprising in a way that so many, I think or validated that so many women were experiencing, high levels of anxiety. But when we started talking it through within, the Healthy Women team, it's not so surprising, because so many women are, this is a huge change time. It's a huge chapter for many, many women. Children are going off to college, and or women are just starting to have their families. One of the biggest jumps when we think about new moms are women in their 40s and late 40s, early 50s of being first-time moms. So it's a huge chapter change for many women. And anxiety certainly was a huge pull-through based on our survey.
And so I think what you're saying is there's ample reason to be anxious, forgetting about if there's any biochemical things going on with menopause.
Right.
Yeah. Could you describe or define for us sexual health? What exactly is that, and what does that mean?
So when we talk about sexual health, it's there's a couple things that can define. So we know sexual health is important to overall health and wellness. And when women start going through menopause, because that's the demographic we're speaking about today, lower estrogen levels, which definitely affects libido, so sexual libido. It affects, lubrication. So you're going to feel, you're not going to have there's opportunity or chances of having painful sex, even urination. You're going to maybe, some incontinence. There's things that end up happening to you physically based on your hormonal levels. So where we're finding, this whole sexual health conversation is menopause does affect your sexual health. There's no one formula that, that affect, it's not one size fits all. So every woman is different, but it's not all in your head. It's definitely a physical change, but there's options that you can take to help preserve and to make sure that you can still have, if you choose, an active sexual health lifestyle. So it's just having those conversations, but so many women we're finding are still embarrassed to talk about sexual health. And we were discussing this about a week or so ago. You still can't say vagina on the air. Like, so if I'm being interviewed for a morning talk show, I still can't say the word vagina, which is kind of crazy in this day and age that we can't talk about that yet.
What are you supposed to say?
I know, right?
Women's lady parts?
But the thing that's so baffling is when we sit down after dinner and watch TV, you can see ads for sexual dysfunction in males, right? But we can't say anything about females. So we can see all the Cialis commercials for men that have problems with erectile dysfunction, and we can say erectile dysfunction, but we can't say the word vagina or really talk about sexual health in women. So it's very, very interesting. Yes. And we're here, we're gonna try to change that. But sexual health as you age is an important women's health topic. It's an important topic for this audience, because if we don't start talking about it, we're not going to understand the options that are available now in helping you manage this. And for some women, it may not be a concern, but for the majority, there is some changes, and you're not alone. And that's the biggest. And one of the best pieces of for healthy women is that we can help you navigate this, and women come to us, and we're able to share stories. So that real women, real story piece of our educational platform is so important and so strong, because once you realize you're not alone, you can raise your hand and you can start asking the questions that you need to ask and getting the information, again, that medically vetted information that will help you make, the best decision for you.
Right. So would you feel comfortable just laying out a few options for people who are experiencing problems in this area in terms of the sexual the sexual dysfunction, if you want to call it that, or the effects on menopause and low estrogen? So what happens if it's painful?
So the first thing you want to do is, I always like to kind of write. I'm at the point where I'd like to write down just what are my symptoms. So write down your symptoms. Like, are you able to have intercourse? And what is it? Is it painful? And what does that pain feel like? And is there any other symptoms that you're experiencing, whether it's painful urination, frequent urinary tract infections? Is there anything else that is affecting your ability to have a healthy sex life. And if you're finding that you're writing, a few of these symptoms down, then I encourage you to first have the conversation with your healthcare provider. And if your healthcare provider isn't able to answer or provide a solve for your issues, then that's when you take it to another healthcare professional. The North American Menopause Society is a great resource too.
Okay.
And they specialize in the health and wellness of women 50 plus. They have consumer information as well as healthcare provider. But the piece that I love about this organization is they have a healthcare professional tool. So you can plug in your geographic location to find out what practitioners have been certified by the North American Menopause Society. And that means that they specialize in menopausal population. So that could be another option for you. And we have that information on our website as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a great resource.
It's a really good resource.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nurse practitioners now that are phenomenal. They've always been phenomenal. But there's nurse practitioners that are specializing in women's health and midlife health. And again, that could be a good option too, especially for women that are done having children and are just looking for that GYN piece of care. There's some great nurse practitioners that are focusing in the menopausal women and would be a great option for women that are looking for a new practitioner to kind of manage this special time in their life.
That's great. That's great advice. I was also thinking as a psychotherapist, when we're looking at something like 1 in 4 or 5 of us are on an SSRI,
right?
That's also a libido killer. So you can have...
You know what? That's exactly. And it's not even... So SSRIs or any cardiovascular, if you're living with diabetes, any type of comorbidity issue or... disease, that can certainly have an effect on your, sexual health.
Yeah, so this idea of really having women be able to talk more comfortably about it makes such a big difference. And I think my sense, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have people come in with different meds and their providers aren't really going through the possible side effects with them. And they're kind of in the dark about what might be happening that's negative, associated with the new medicine they're on.
No, it's true. Or they're jumping to different practitioners and not explaining the medications that they're on, or reviewing, like doing that current review on why are you on this? How much are you on? Is it time to start thinking about a lower dose or weaning you off of it? So those conversations have to be had too.
Yeah. We were talking about self-care and the idea of using your family pet as the gold standard maybe, but talk to me a little bit about your work. You're obviously extremely passionate about doing a great job with this website, and you're also a practitioner. How do you manage to do this? Do you have particular tricks or tips in keeping your own health in good shape?
I do. And so what I've realized is the importance, we all talk about work-life balance. And so within Healthy Women, I have the opportunity to really make that happen for my team as well as me. So for me, I need to work out every day because that's my stress relief.
Okay.
So I do take time for me. I carve it into my regular work day. Either I do it before I start, so I can, I'm the type that can do an early morning, a 5:30 workout class and get it in before I start my day. Or sometimes I use, lunch if it's a crazy morning and I'm not able to get to the gym in the morning, then I make sure I carve it out during the day and use and make myself take a lunch, because most people will say, well, I eat at my desk, I never take lunch. But I just find I'm much more productive, and it's my mental health kind of staying well and being healthy for me to work out. I'm much more productive. I feel like I can come back, and if something was, if I found like I had a hurdle in the morning and there was a few issues, by the time I'm done with my workout or a quick run, I feel much more better and able to address it sometimes in a better way than I would have been before I did that run. So I think it is really important to schedule workouts in your your daily routine. I also try to eat well, and because I have a young family, I travel a lot. I just make sure that weekends I carve out time in our weekends where there's no electronic devices. I'm a huge stickler with that, so you're not going to see me carrying my phone all over. I channel down on the weekends. And it's not to say that I don't carve out some times on Sunday to get caught up and look at my schedule for the upcoming week. But I really do try to put myself first and my family's health as well as a priority.
And how have you been able to do that? Because we all have talked about, Facebook, emails, Pinterest, all this stuff sort of having this really kind of creepy way of taking over and drawing us in. I mean, that's the way it's designed, and we know that. How have you been able to hold the line there?
You know what? Because I feel like if we don't start doing it, then how can we tell others to do it, right? So, and I realized very early on that you could start on your phone in the morning and it just takes over your day, right? So you start texting, and then all of a sudden you're not paying attention to what's currently happening around you, and then you noticed your little ones knocking your hand to basically saying, "I want some attention from you.
Wow.
Get off your phone." And so I think that's the part too where I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to be on my phone 24/7. I can put it away, and I do. I just put it in my top drawer. And then I focus on what's happening in front of me, and I laugh too because I'm thinking about people that say, "Well, I'm a great multitasker." No one's a great multitasker.
That's a myth.
And it's really important. And I use this as part of my, new year. What I'm going to do better in the new year, and it's just focus on the present. So sometimes it's hard, easier said than done.
Yes.
But I'm really putting a concerted effort in. Focusing on the present and being a better listener. So I don't do Facebook. Professionally we have a Facebook page, but I do not personally have a Facebook page. On the weekends, if I'm not working at the hospital, then I am 100% here for my family. And some of the current things that, the daily activities that I do on the weekends. I leave time on Sundays to get caught up for the upcoming week. But then I shut the computer off. And that's usually after kids are, people are in bed or, getting ready for bed. It's not during our, kind of family time. And then with the nursing career, it's interesting because I am a practicing nurse. I do per diem, so I'm committed to 2 shifts a month, 2 12-hour shifts. But I enjoy it. And I feel like it is important with this company and with the position I'm in to keep my hand in the game. And I absolutely love it. I feel like it's my personal touchstone. So while I still enjoy it, then I'm going to do it. Is it easy? Sometimes it's not so easy, especially when you're working over 60 hours a week with the company and traveling a lot. And coming in late on Friday and having to get up and do a 12-hour shift on Saturday. It can be tough, but I still love it, and I'm completely sold on the area that I'm in. It just makes me happy, and I feel like I'm making a difference. So
those are
I'll
all
continue
really
to do
important. Yeah. What you're describing, of course, is being really intentional with your time, and some people might even call that a mindfulness about, no, I want to stay here in the present, look at my kid in the eye, and not be doing that while I'm looking at recipes on, whatever, on Pinterest.
Right. And it's not to say, I think about, and there's always times where you have to check your phone or whatever, but I feel like, again, like you just said so eloquently, is trying to be in the present. And I think if we can all try to do that a little bit more, then it works. And I just feel like it's not something that's easy, but I just try to be mindful of it. And if I am able to leave my phone in the car while I'm on the playground, or just able to focus on building a Lego tower versus, trying to check my email or
I'm very familiar with
answer
those.
calls,
Yes.
then it's a better day.
Do you get pushback, Beth, from other people on your team saying, I really needed to talk to you on Sunday about this article and there's a little problem on the website? Do you get pushback from people who are on their device all the time?
No, I have not. And my team, I have a great team. I have to, say that I have a really great team, and they know how to reach me. So if they need me. And most of them are senior professionals, and they have families as well. So I think the one of the, I want them all to feel that Healthy Women is really an organization, a company that supports. We practice what we preach.
Yes.
So we all work extremely hard, and there are times that we have late nights, just like anyone else. But we're also very mindful and respectful of people's time on the weekend, on vacation. You're not going to get emails. You don't have to carry two phones. We always have backup. So if someone is on vacation, they are not checking their emails. There's no need for them to check their emails. They're not coming back to 500 emails in their inbox. They are only coming back to emails that they needed to be CC'd on and will be briefed and caught up on when they're back, at their desk. But we try to really practice what we preach and implement what we think are the best methods for doing a great, for a company and for a solid organization that's for women and all about women.
Wow, you really model this notion of you must take care of yourself. You're not just talking about it. You're really modeling it. And so it's coming from the top down. And it sounds like that would be a really great place to work.
It is. I hope so. I feel like it is. And it's funny because most of my team members have worked for me, or I've worked, with them in the past, and they've come back. So they've either worked for me, have left, and then asked if they, would like, as jobs opened and as we continue to grow, they've come back and said, we'd love to work for you again. So that to me is a huge, I'm taking that as a compliment.
Yes, yes.
And then I have my Heidi Roswell-Brenholtz, who's my Senior Vice President of Strategic Engagement and Policy, helped restart Healthy Women. So we, in 1997, Columbia Hospital for Women, we were under the Columbia Hospital for Women umbrella, and that hospital, which was a small women's hospital, was going to close. So we restarted the organization out of our homes. And it was, Heidi and I have worked together for a very long time. She helped restart the organization. We were the first women's health website to go live. And the first and only women's health website online, the first women's health website online, and we've evolved. And I'm just so pleased that she's back on the Healthy Women team and really helping me create that strong policy arm, so we can educate consumers on important policy issues that can affect their health and well-being.
What was it like to be recognized by the Oprah magazine?
Well, I have to say I was not even aware. I was on a plane, and it was before takeoff, so my phone was still on. And a friend and a colleague of mine called me, and I had time to answer the phone. And she said, where are you? Have you seen Oprah magazine yet? And I said, no, why? And she said, you're named as one of the top women's health website. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. She's like, how did you do that? I'm like, I have no idea. You were the first one to tell me about that.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So it was awesome. That was an awesome moment. And now we're up for Dr. Oz has another company called ShareCare, and we're up for an award through the ShareCare, his ShareCare business. And so we'll know if we win that in March. So that's exciting, and we're looking forward to hearing the results.
It's really nice to work so hard and believe in what you're doing and then get the external validation too. That's like a little icing on the cake.
Always, yes.
It's really lovely. So let's just do a little brief summary, Beth, for our listeners in terms of the menopause. Just a little guideline for women who are just about to go into it. They're into it. They may just have passed through. What would you like to tell them?
So you're not alone. First of all, you're not alone. Perimenopause and, starting to feel like you're not sleeping, starting to feel those, all of a sudden really hot and then cold. It's not in your mind. And then, also changes in your menstrual cycle, all part of, aging well, or aging, I should say. And our biggest theme here is, and what Healthy Women is here for all of you, is to make sure that you have the tools and resources to age well. So as you're getting older, it is important to understand some of the symptoms that come along with perimenopause and menopause, and to make sure that you put yourself first. This is an important time to keep those appointments with your healthcare provider. Keep your annual women's wellness visit. Make sure that you're asking questions that are important to you. There's no such thing as an embarrassing question. And if you feel like you can't address it with your healthcare provider, or they're not answering it accurately, or not answering it at all and just saying it's a normal part of aging, it's important that you think about changing your healthcare provider. There's so many qualified healthcare providers that are very focused in the midlife health space. Healthy Women is a great resource for you to understand what's happening with you, and really to give you the tools and resources to make sure that you're aging well. Understand your health history. Understand if your mom or your grandmother experienced osteoporosis, if you have a family history of heart disease and cancers, and making sure that you keep those preventative screenings, your mammograms, your bone density screenings, your colon cancer screenings, all very, very important. This next chapter is an exciting chapter, and what we want at Healthy Women is to make sure that you age well.
An educated consumer, I think, is what you're talking about.
An educating consumer and being able to put yourself first. Because ladies, if you don't put yourself first, you're not going to be there to take care of your families.
Yep, I have said almost the exact same words. So that is extremely helpful, Beth. Thank you so much. I was just kind of smiling because we started the conversation saying how absurd it is that you can't say vagina on television. If you want to read all about the vagina and other related issues, the website just makes it so comfortable and accessible and so comprehensive. It really is. It's delightful. Is there a place that you'd like to steer our listeners towards? We'll do the Healthy Women website. Any other places?
Yeah, so healthywomen.org. I would also, the North American Menopause Society, so NAMS. .org is another really good resource for information about midlife health.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks so much for sharing your time with us today.
Well, thanks so much for having such a lovely program. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Okay, thanks, Beth.
Thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share with some of your friends. I love to hear from my listeners. Send me an email at NicoleChristina.com. And please consider becoming a patron of the show. You will get access to exclusive bonuses, and you will be part of the Zestful Aging community. Keep us going strong. Go to patreon.com/zestfulaging. See you next time for another episode of Zestful Aging.